This week on Cybercrime, a special edition devoted to DEFCON 10.
This comes around once a year. You got to be here for it. You got to see it. If you're in the business, you got to know what's going on.
We go inside the computer underground for the latest on hacking, computer security, and online privacy.
And it's the first DEFCON since 9/11. Learn how new laws and tighter security are affecting the hacker community.
They've made some computer crimes much more punishable, define some of them as terrorism.
Have lawmakers gone too far?
And then it's the government's turn. How realistic is a cyber attack on the nation's power grid?
Maybe someday, terrorist groups and governments attacking us, instead of using bombs and bullets, using bits and bytes.
Exclusive interviews with the people in charge of protecting cyberspace.
Finally, it's not all work and no play. The sights and sounds of the largest hacker conference in the world. It's all ahead right now on Cybercrime.
Hi, I'm Jennifer London.
And I'm Alex Wellen. Welcome to Cybercrime. This week, a half hour dedicated to DEFCON.
It was 10 years ago that a small group of hackers, about 100, decided to get together, socialize, exchange ideas, party.
And now hundreds are thousands. And with anything that explodes in size, it's going to have some growing pains, but it's going to have some benefits.
And anytime you get thousands of hackers, feds, suits together in a small hotel off the Vegas Strip, things are going to get crazy and anything can happen.
You got to stroke those packets through.
Hey, that's kind of vibrating.
And the wireless network is up and running finally.
There certainly was a lot up and running this year at DEFCON 10 in Las Vegas. And once again, the world's largest hacking convention was anything but conventional.
And guess what? I'm really not that drunk.
I use this as my chance to express my alter ego.
You can get around and geek out all you want.
It's definitely out of the movies. You know, you see those people with the wacky hair.
Or spiky hair, blue hair, short hair, long hair. It doesn't really matter. What does matter this year? Security, more so than in years past, given 9/11.
I think it's really critical these days we look at a lot of public systems and make sure they're not vulnerable to cyber terrorism.
I think corporate America needs to wake up and learn a lot more about security.
Hackers are effectively something that tests the security of systems, and it's worth doing that testing.
What have you guys learned so far?
How to make a Windows 2000 server more secure, how to, use wireless networking.
Which is also a hot topic on the floor this year. And while these guys may look like something out of a bad porn movie, they're actually scanning for wireless networks. And if you couldn't guess, this is the antenna.
I have found 28 networks so far just within this area. Before I found about 40 networks total. That was with my smaller antenna.
Try it at the bigger one.
Speaking of bigger,
this year is a lot more people here.
It's bigger, it's better.
So what a difference a year makes. Last year, DEFCON's future appeared a little shaky, with a lot of attendees complaining it was too big, too corporate, and had strayed too far from its roots. In fact, a lot of attendees wondered if DEFCON had enough legs to make it another year. Well, look around. The floor is packed. The general mood is upbeat and positive, with attendees getting back to basics.
Looks like this community is still thriving.
It doesn't look like it's slowing down.
There's definitely some kind of different energy between last year's DEFCON and this year's. What do you think's going on?
Yeah, the vibe is all different this year. I think many factors. I think maybe people are a little bit more serious after the 9/11 attacks. I think after the .com crash, maybe not so many people thought that they wanted to be a security guy. It wasn't so sexy anymore. So I think maybe some of the wannabes didn't show up.
if anyone knows the changes DEFCON has gone through during the past 10 years, it's Jeff Moss, the convention's founder.
This is what we were hoping to achieve in 2 or 3 years of changing the program around. We were going to get back to our roots, better speakers, get rid of the crazy rave room, get a more relaxed atmosphere.
And some are certainly finding it easy to relax. Others should maybe lay off the caffeine for a while. And as expected, not all attendees share the same upbeat feeling.
It just hasn't been very exciting. There hasn't been new information presented. The talks, you can find all the information on the net. nothing very original about it. I don't think it's really gone corporate. I think it's more of corporate has gone DEF CON. You see them selling more and more merchandise. You see the price going up.
It's true. The 10th anniversary of DEF CON brought the first admission hike in 4 years, according to Moss. Attendees paid $75 instead of $50. And while $25 may have chased some away, in general, most weren't complaining about the increase or anything else.
I like it this year, and I don't know what's really different, but in general, I think I'm finding the crowd a little friendlier.
The people here are the nicest people, and they actually will talk to you.
But this year's, it's really creeping us out because nothing's going wrong. I mean, we're used to all kinds of disasters, and so far nothing's happened.
Yeah, but just wait for the black and white ball and Hacker Jeopardy.
The categories for the first...
While we're not expecting any disasters, it won't be as tame as the hacking floor.
If they're always like this, I don't see why I'd stop.
And we're not stopping either. Later in the show, we'll bring you highlights from the after-hours events at DEF CON 10. Our crew stayed up extra late this year, and you won't want to miss Vanna Vinyl. And coming up right after the break, how the post-September 11th climate is affecting government regulation of the online world.
It led them to pass a whole series of what I would call, basic knee-jerk type legislation.
What this means for anonymity, law enforcement, and you. Stay with us.
Just follow it up. Where'd the ball go? Where'd the ball go? Where'd the ball go? No. Bring the ball back.
Entertainment, a powerful force awakens.
This is the One Ring, taken from the hand of Sauron.
The ring must be destroyed. And a journey of epic adventure begins. This 2-disc set features hours of bonus material, including a preview of The Two Towers, the next movie in the trilogy that you won't see anywhere else. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Bring home the adventure on DVD and VHS.
Hey. Ready for something new? This is Tech TV.
With a look at the coolest new stuff.
Television with a new twist, a bright idea, and a brand new perspective. It's robots and rocket cars. It's a digital pick and animated flick. It's a thrill ride. It's your gear guide. It's a puppet on a mission with a lead foot. It's a Top Gun, a home run. It's a factory fresh, fuel-injected, supercharged, supersonic, super friend. It's Tech TV.
Are you ready for the more useful internet? There's never been a better time to switch from AOL dial-up and get MSN broadband. The smarter, faster internet service, optimized by Microsoft IntelliSpeed technology. Just another great reason to switch from AOL to MSN. Call now and get broadband service with free activation, free modem use, and no term commitment. MSN, more useful every day.
Ready or not, you're going back to school. But with Gateway's Power Up for School sales event, going back is easy because you can get great deals on powerful desktops at incredibly low prices and get a $100 mail-in rebate on all PCs in stock. You gotta go, so get to your Gateway store today.
Welcome back. The nation has experienced a loss of innocence since September 11th, and it's had a profound effect on the hacking community. What now? What next? Is cyber terrorism a real threat, or is the fear of a cyber Pearl Harbor simply an overhyped notion being spread by the government and the media?
I firmly believe that there is a massive threat for cyber terrorism based on the technology and the fact that a lot of people refuse to protect themselves.
Robert Virus Lupo should know. He's DEF CON's expert on computer viruses. Perhaps it wasn't on the DEF CON 10 conference schedule, but talk of potential cyber terrorism was the buzz on the floor. This was pretty much the sentiment last year.
Cyber terrorism is a myth, which is now fading gradually.
Hackers still hate the hype, says longtime DEF CON philosopher and speaker Richard Thiem. But Thiem says the hacking community is profoundly aware of how vulnerable our electronic infrastructure is.
There's not going to be like one big attack on the electronic infrastructure, but as part of an attack on America in concert with attacks on other parts of the infrastructure, it's viable.
Perhaps the annual Meet the Fed panel could shed some light. These were the panelists from last year.
Nowhere else do we get the insight that we're getting here.
And where were the feds this year?
Well, they're not speaking.
DEF CON veteran and staffer Dead Addict.
I think the feds are more nervous to be associated with the people here, and the people here are more nervous to talk to them and to interact with them.
Caesar's Palace, that's where you would have found plenty of feds earlier in the week, attending the pricey sister conference to DEF CON, known as Black Hat.
Black Hat is basically kind of a corporate government-based computer security conference where they bring in a lot of the real hackers as opposed to the script kiddies.
VK DeLong handles the press for both Black Hat and DEF CON.
I think there's no Meet the Fed panel because the guy who organized it, Jim Christie, didn't show up this year.
There are quite a few feds. They have been fairly low-key in their presence.
Shatter knows he's one of the DEF CON goons in charge of security.
Most of the time, like years past, the feds are here to learn just like anybody else.
Maybe we'll have some luck here. The game, Spot the Fed, moderated by none other than Priest.
Doesn't he look like the Scottish gardener from The Simpsons?
The guy in the middle thinks the guy on the right is a Fed. Nope. Attendees here couldn't spot any. We managed to spot one.
I've been here officially on at least 3 occasions.
FBI's Don Cavender says many of his fellow feds are busy elsewhere, concentrating on anti-terrorism efforts.
I've actually seen a lot more outreach from the hacker community to me than I've seen in past years.
Don comes to learn, network, and yes, recruit.
In the DEF CON common areas, if the feds are here, they are definitely under the radar. But in the conference rooms like the one behind me, they're the topic of conversation. In particular, how new federal laws passed after 9/11 will affect the hacking community.
Hacking is political.
DEF CON speaker and activist Simple Nomad.
The supposed people that are running the government, it led them to pass a whole series of what I would call, basic knee-jerk type legislation.
They passed the USA Patriot Act, which stripped away a number of the fairly important rights and added a great deal of additional electronic surveillance.
Former hacker defense attorney Jennifer Granick packed the room. Attendees got a primer on the new Patriot Act.
So before people get upset, I just want to say not all hacking is redefined as a terrorist offense, but some hacking is.
But many are already upset, fearing new federal laws will ultimately be misdirected at the hacker community.
The traditional terrorist networks aren't going to use cyber terrorism. They're not going to. It doesn't have the visceral fear. So the proposed legislation is going to hurt us. People here aren't comfortable with the feds.
Up next.
I think a major cyber attack on the United States, a disabling cyber attack on the United States, could come at any time.
The nation's cyber czar talks about the threat of an online attack. Can a new Department of Homeland Security save us? We'll be right back.
According to the Wall Street Journal, indoor air pollution can be up to 5 times worse than the air outdoors. Clean air can be the difference between living comfortably or being miserable. Sharper Image introduces the ultimate clean air solution, the patented Ionic Breeze Quadra. Exclusive Xeneon technology cleans and circulates air without a fan or filters and is totally silent. Here's how it works. First, the Ionic Breeze positively charges the incoming air. Then the air is pulled toward the negatively charged grid like a magnet. The positively charged contaminants attach to the collection grid, and then the cleaned air is accelerated into the room, creating a fresh, clean smell. Cleaning takes only minutes. Just pull out the collection grid, wipe it with a damp cloth or sponge, and slip it back in. It's that simple. Studies have proven the ionic breeze removes allergens such as pollen and animal dander. It even removes airborne bacteria and some harmful chemicals from carpeting, paint, and household cleaners. It powers through smoke and offensive odors and leaves your house smelling fresh and clean. Don't be misled by the prices of other filters. Over 5 years, hidden costs of filter replacements and electricity can add up to over $1,000. The Ionic Breeze Quadra requires no filters and uses almost no electricity. Try it in your home for 2 months. If you don't love it, send it back. Sharper Image will give you a full refund. Through this exclusive offer, Sharper Image will send you a free bathroom Ionic Breeze. This compact plug-in helps even dirty bathrooms smell fresh and clean 24 hours a day. The $69 bathroom Ionic Breeze is yours free when you order today. And that's not all. Call now and be sure to ask about free shipping.
Call 1-800-866-0433. Help eliminate chemicals, allergens, and odors with the Ionic Breeze Quadra. That's 1-800-866-0433.
Welcome back. So is the U.S. facing an imminent threat of cyber terrorism? You've heard from the hackers. What does the government think? Well, the first step to answering that question is pinning down who exactly is protecting us in cyberspace. For better or worse, right now, the job is being handled by more than 25 different government agencies and departments. Will a new Office of Homeland Security complicate or simplify matters?
Behind this door, the feds are secretly collecting information. They're looking for vulnerabilities to our financial systems, to our transportation systems.
We worry about water, sewage, electric power, insofar as those things, the infrastructure things, rely on cyberspace. That's because none of those things work anymore without cyberspace.
With a direct line to the president, that makes Richard Clarke the senior-most guy in the White House thinking about how to protect cyberspace. From nuclear arms control to counterintelligence to cybercrime, Clarke has served every U.S. administration since 1973.
We're in a very risky position. We allowed ourselves during the 1990s to put all sorts of critical functions for the economy and for the government into cyberspace without ever designing security. We took the fast road, the cheap road, the easy road.
Clarke is known for his candor and his effectiveness. Critics call him a fearmonger. This quote appeared in this article, published the day we sat down in Washington, D.C.
How substantial and how imminent is an al-Qaeda attack on the internet?
Well, we don't know what we don't know. You always have to begin there. The evidence that we have accumulated to date by interrogating al-Qaeda members and by going through their computers, physically going through their computers, suggests that they do have an interest in cyber attacks, and they do have some tools for it that you can get off the internet. But we don't have any information that suggests they have sophisticated capability, and we don't have any information that suggests that they have an attack planned.
You've been quoted as saying that every single government agency that you've tried to break into, maybe not you, your people, you've had success. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's accurate. The National Security Agency has a team that goes around with permission and tries to get into various government departments. They always get in.
We must create a Department of Homeland Security.
And depending upon Clarke's role, a new Office of Homeland Security could give his group the authority, staff, and money he needs to help secure cyberspace.
Homeland Security, in turn, will be worrying about policy, programs, warning, analysis, giving aid to state and local governments that need it for responding to terrorism and responding to cyber problems.
Right now, the federal agencies defending cyberspace are fragmented all over Washington, D.C.
The new Office of Homeland Security is intended to consolidate them, bring them under one roof so they can share information. That plan includes moving one of the country's most high-profile cybercrime divisions, the FBI's National Infrastructure Protection Center, or NIPSI.
At FBI headquarters, this is as close as you're going to get to the FBI's NIPSI.
It is my job to worry about what the vulnerabilities are and what the threats are that could utilize or attack those vulnerabilities.
Ronald Dick is the NIPSI director. His agency is running defense against potential terrorism 24/7. Dick says a new Office of Homeland Security could face some of the unique challenges NIPSI did when it launched 4 years ago.
The whole issue here for us, for the Department of Homeland Security, if and when it's created, is the building of trust between the other federal agencies that they share information with the Department of Homeland Security, with the private sector.
One way to improve trust with the private sector, a series of national town hall meetings, like this one in Oregon.
We've met some people on this trip out here in Portland that have tremendous ideas that I think really can work to help solve the problem.
Howard Schmidt is vice chairman of the presidential committee that will take public feedback and design a national strategy to secure cyberspace.
80 to 90% of the critical infrastructure that we look at, that we're concerned about protecting, are in the hands of the private sector. You have small businesses, large enterprises, home users, government agencies, international agencies. So therefore, in order to develop a strategy, we have to reach out and touch all those different organizations.
Schmidt is well acquainted with the private sector. He spent 5 years as Microsoft's chief security officer. In Portland, Schmidt, Clark, and a panel of local experts from the industry and government received input from the public and private sector.
There is a severe shortage today of truly security professionals.
I think the biggest cybersecurity threat that the United States is facing right now is apathy.
Clark agrees. Town hall meetings, speaking engagements, pamphlets with questionnaires, interviews, whatever it takes to raise the public's awareness of the jeopardy the U.S. has put itself in.
I think a major cyber attack on the United States, a disabling cyber attack on the United States, could come at any time. From a group that we know about, from a nation state, or from a group that we don't know about until it happens. And we can't, yes, it is a race. We can't wait. We can't take this slowly.
In September, Richard Clark's presidential committee is expected to release a national strategy for protecting cyberspace. Meantime, President Bush has asked Congress for more than $4 billion to improve computer security throughout the federal government.
Coming up, the weird, the wacky, and the wild. It's all at this year's DEF CON. Stick around, you'll have to see it to believe it.
Weeknights on Tech TV. It's television's most entertaining technology show, The Screensavers.
This is the show where we make bad jokes and answer your tech questions. It's kind of marriage made in hell.
From games to gadgets to computers. See how technology can work for you on The Screensavers.
Fire up!
The Screensavers, weeknights at 7, 6 Central on Tech TV.
We're the cars we were promised, the dream cars, the idea vehicles. We're the cars we were promised. They're closer than you think. The Infiniti Q45 with voice recognition, intelligent cruise control, and a class-leading 340 horsepower engine. The Q45 from Infiniti.
Starting today, your telephone will answer you. Introducing Pronto, your on-call assistant, live and at your service, with the information you need when you need it. Get more than just a good restaurant. Get the nearest one. More than just the nearest. Get the best. So much more than directory assistance. Get the ultimate full-service 411. Get it all for just $19.95 a month. Hear hourly updates from the Wall Street Journal.
Market report at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. The NASDAQ up 1 to 50.
Hear the latest from CNN, ESPN Sports Center, weather reports too. It works on any phone, and it's a cinch to sign up. It's no contract, no hidden fees. It's more than just answers.
Pronto, how may I help you?
It's a solution. Pronto, your on-call assistant. Change everything you know. Try Pronto today, risk-free for 30 days. Call 1-866-PRONTO-1 to sign up now.
Your pet's same exact heartworm and flea medications delivered to your home, saving you time and money.
It costs less than buying from my veterinarian.
It only takes a phone call.
I saved a visit to my vet's office. I didn't have to leave home.
Pet Meds delivers my pet's medication right to my door.
It's cheaper and more convenient than buying from my vet.
I save time and money.
1-888-PET-MEDS. We deliver savings and convenience on HeartGuard, Advantage, Frontline, and all other pet medications. Call to order now or order online.
I've always loved working on computers, and in the Army, that's what I do.
If you never thought about the U.S. Army or Army Reserve, think about this. There are 212 ways for you to become a soldier and work at a job you'll love. Call for this free video to find out which job is right for you. And if you call 1-800-645-ARMY right now, you'll also receive a free Army t-shirt with your video. Discover the 212 ways you can be an Army of One.
Next, cybercrime. Betting the odds with virtual bookies. It's quasi-legal in the United States, but offshore on this island paradise, it's becoming a bigger industry than tourism. But U.S. gamblers are spending millions with offshore gaming sites.
In a sense, it turns a lot of people into closet gamblers.
Plus, video voyeurs with X-ray vision. Can this camera really see through your clothes? Those stories and more when our show premieres next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back. As we've seen throughout the show, DEFCON is a lot of things to a lot of people, but a stuffy, uptight convention with ties and pinstripes, it's not. DEFCON is a party, and this year was no exception.
There's nothing better than a good-natured ping pong ball fight to clear the air after a few hours of staring at your computer screen. And that's what it takes to compete in one of DEFCON's most popular events, a complicated 3-day network hacking game called Capture the Flag.
Every team has a flag, and if you put your flag on another system, you count twice. So that's one way to win.
A different kind of game was introduced at DEFCON this year, war driving. Players drive around Vegas for 2 hours, searching for as many public and private wireless networks as they can find. Extra credit for finding ones without any security.
Wow, I just got Rich's 4G network, 3 of them sitting in the garage.
Back at the hotel, you might be looking to bring a DEFCON souvenir back home.
The DEFCON shot glasses, yeah, they happen to be some of our biggest sellers.
So it's just not used computer parts and CD-ROMs for sale here at DEFCON 10. Style is also very important in the hacking community, like these lovely jackets here. This one's pretty nice. It's $80. I'm gonna try it on. Little hot in Vegas for a jacket like this, but again, style's important. It's pretty nice. And then we have this jacket over here. This jacket is $120. I don't know, what do you think? Is it me? Which one do you like better? Oh, and I have something for Alex. I don't know. What do you think? Is it him? I think it's his size.
And style was key at Saturday night's Black and White Ball. But even here, the hardcore hackers couldn't leave their laptops.
I don't see any hands.
By now, it was close to midnight. Time for a noisy trivia takeoff called Hacker Jeopardy!
Aren't you hot in that thing?
And every hacker's dream, co-host Vanna Vinyl.
Microsoft code names for 100. Chicago.
What is Windows 95?
Windows 95, that's it.
Now that was an easy one. Here's one for Alex.
Same category for 200. Memphis.
Okay, Alex, I'm going to give it to you again. The category is Microsoft code names. The answer is Memphis.
So let's see, Windows 95 was Chicago, so I'm guessing that Windows 98 is Memphis. So.
Wrong. You need to state it in the form of a question, please.
What is Windows 98?
Very good. So if after all of this you still want more DEFCON coverage, our website won't let you down. We have bonus clips from Alex's interview with cyber czar Richard Clark.
Plus more about online anonymity and whether it even still exists after the adoption of the Patriot Act.
So just head to cybercrime.com and check it out. And that's all the time we have.
I hope you enjoyed our DEF CON special.
And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.